My name is Marten Hall. I'm an ecologist. I'm also an officer in the Army Reserve. I believe in the sovereignty of the individual, sovereignty of my country, freedom of speech, freedom of choice. Basically, I prefer people or myself to rely, self-reliance basically. Self-reliance and personal responsibility, taking responsibility for your own actions. That's kind of what gets me out of bed. I have been on a bit of a journey. My soldiering side, I spend a lot of time cooperating with other armed forces, other countries, and I'm quite proud of our ability to do that. And I probably thought that the EU was a good thing for a while, but then I started to see the machine work, and looked behind the curtain and seen that the Wizard of Oz wasn't this wonderful person. It was just this bureaucratic nightmare that happened in the background. Watching what was happening with the Lisbon Treaty and how that was implemented, the initial constitution, the European constitution process that we're trying to work, the fact that they were ignoring the Irish vote and decided to try and make them vote twice, that seemed fundamentally undemocratic to me and made me want to, or started getting me more interested in that side of the political life. I joined the army at 16, mainly because I didn't really have any other options. I was trying to escape from the not best upbringing, but I've managed to make a fair success of it. I passed the commando course. I eventually commissioned after about 10 years of service, and I'm still serving now, so I still have something to give, I think, even at my latent years in my career at 45, I'm still enjoying what I do. To be able to make something of yourself, I think that's part of what's great with our society. Is it doesn't matter where you come from, if you're willing to put the work in, if you're willing to just get up in the morning and do the little things, make your bed, get dressed, go to work, put in a full 8 hours, come back again, you will go somewhere. You will go somewhere probably further than you ever thought you possibly could have done. You just got to allow yourself to do it. A particular frustration of mine is this concept that somehow we cannot be trusted to look after ourselves, to govern ourselves. That's a big one for me. I don't get it. I couldn't imagine my neighbour turning around to me and saying, "By the way, I can't look after myself. Can you make the big decisions for me?" I wouldn't expect that to happen. I'd expect them to do those themselves. And I fully expect our country to be able to flourish outside of the European project. That freedom that we have, I've worked in different countries. I've moved, I've lived in different countries for periods of time. And the one thing I love about this country is we have a system, and the system is fair play. We have a series of rules that we all work to and we all follow, and you can't just circumvent them. And once you take that away, I think that's where the palpable anger that is out there in some of the constituencies that I visit, and some of the constituents I talk to, where the rules aren't being followed right now. And that's something fundamentally undemocratic and un-British. It's not the British way of doing things. We have a set of rules and we all work towards them. You can put a sticking plaster on this by increasing police numbers, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's not a bad thing. I'm saying it's a good thing. But you've got to get to the root of the matter, which I believe is a lack of direction, possibly a lack of hope in young people, where they decide that actually it's the risk of carrying a knife and using it is worth it. I can't imagine how hard it must be to deal with, a prison sentence when you've stabbed someone to death, and more importantly, the knowledge that you've killed someone in that manner, and how you actually ever make something of yourself afterwards. I can't imagine that at all, and I think that there's a lot of work to be done in making sure that we that people who think they don't have options know that they do, and those options are out there. And whether that's through an increase in, apprenticeships, or whether it's an increase in youth work facilities. My wife's a youth worker, and I've worked as one as well. And it's again, it goes back to that frustration of young people not realising what their potential is, and understanding that actually just make the right choices and you're going to go far. Carrying a knife, getting involved in that world is not a good thing. It might give you, a short-term gain, but there's going to be some long-term pain that's coming with it. The Brexit Party came about at the right time, where I was getting more and more frustrated with the way the EU referendum had gone, the way it wasn't being implemented, and when the Brexit Party stood up at the European elections, I thought that this was the perfect opportunity to be voting for a party that said specifically what it was going to do, and I felt that I could trust them to do it. I then, that then moved on to questioning what I felt was the most important issue of the day, and that is Brexit.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Favourite colour?
Blue.
Football or rugby?
Rugby.
What team?
England.
Are you scared of anything?
Failure.
If you weren't in politics, you weren't in the military, your dream job, what would it be?
I've done a lot of jobs. I don't know about dream. I've done a lot of things. I probably get bored too quickly to have a dream job, but quite enjoyed acting. That was quite fun.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
You're on a desert island. 3 things. What is it? What are they?
A plane, a helicopter, and a boat.
All-time hero.
All-time hero. Do you know what? I didn't have a lot of direction as a kid, so I spent a lot of time reading. Julius Caesar, Ranulph Fiennes is a big one for me. I just like the fact that the guy cut his own toes off. That's pretty epic. He's putting himself into a position where he really is, exploring the level of struggle and pain that a human body can actually deal with. And, there's something fundamentally, honest about that.
Just lastly, would you rather go to the highest point on Earth or the bottom point on the T?
Highest point on Earth.